Hello and welcome, beloveds, to another episode of Ask Dr. Mumbi. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going? I really do pray that you are well in all your ways and that you're moving into living life truly on your own terms, in your own rhythm, in your own vibe, and most importantly, in your own story. I'm reporting live and direct from the center of the earth, beloveds, Mount Zion, aka Mount Kenya. You know, some say Kenya is the nest of Yah, the nest of the Most High. We see the mountain that way for sure, but those are definitely stories of for other days. Special shout out to everyone that subscribed to the channel. Thank you so much. Go ahead and consider subscribing if you haven't already. I wanted to address this issue because I get a lot of emails of people who are, I don't want to say in a panic, but their focus is on everything else. They, because there's a lot of people who want to relocate either out of the city or back to the motherland, or they want to make moves in their lives. They feel, the whole Babylon sinking like the Titanic, and they want to jump ship. And then others have emailed me about feeling a lot of pressure from family to take certain decisions to participate in the experiment at such a time as this. And there's a lot of different emails that I get. And I just want to say, beloveds, the most important thing for you right now is your self-confidence and your self-esteem. If your self-confidence and your self-esteem is not what it should be, then you are going to make decisions that are harmful to you and your bloodline. And so, it's not so much about what anyone else is doing or how anyone else is acting. Unfortunately, it's beyond that time where we can convince anyone or anybody of anything. But we now have to do the right thing for us and our families and, our lives. And the thing that's really going to stand in your way and determine whether you stand firm or you fall is your self-esteem, beloveds. And that's why you need to really, really work on building your self-confidence and building your self-esteem. And what that basically means, if we're not using that fancy language, is you need to build up your information, build up the space of information that you have access to. Knowledge is power. Knowledge builds confidence. When you start knowing a thing or two, it gives you confidence, because we need to learn to trust ourselves again. Because what was taken from us was our self-trust and our self-confidence. And because we lack self-confidence and self-esteem, that's why we can believe in a story, a narrative where, a God that doesn't look like us, has put us in internal damnation, etc., etc. That's how we get manipulated to make decisions that literally are anti-life, are against ourselves, because we lack the self-confidence to stand up for ourselves and to trust that our decision is right. And especially now, because the enemy of our soul knew that we would be entering the great information age and the great unveiling where nothing can be hidden anymore. That's the season and times we're in. No secret can be kept from you. Nothing can be hidden anymore. And so they have dumped so much, all kinds of information online. They're tweaking it a little bit, trying to rewrite history again. They're spending so much energy on the narrative, on controlling and ordering the narrative, beloveds. And they've also spent a lot of money to keep your self-esteem down and to make sure that from when you were a child, your self-confidence and your self-esteem is at the lowest level. Because you see, a weak self-confidence shows that you're weak in spirit. And this time, beloveds, it's not a gun that's going to be held to your head. It's an idea that they're going to try and penetrate and force into your mind so that you disempower yourself. So, to all those people who are asking, how do I prevent this? How do I prevent that? It might sound like a really simple option, or really simple like answer. But the way you make sure that Babylon doesn't get you is you keep your self confidence way up. Because you see, when you're confident in yourself, you'll listen to the inner voice inside you. You'll pay attention to the nudges of spirit to go this way, to go that way, to avoid this, to avoid that. You'll move differently when you're self confident, beloved. And the way to also build your self confidence is to really go through your issues, go through your baggage. Just process it, process all those emotions and all those ideas, process it. Because what's mashing us up right now is our subconscious and all the things that they've put in our minds, programmed in us before we were 7, before we were teenagers. And then for like 21, 22 years, if you went through the whole education system, including university, like it's just been a programming of their story, their narrative, their philosophy, their ideologies, and they don't give you even the frame to think for yourself. And so that really erodes our self-confidence, where we feel we can't trust ourselves, we can't trust our ideas, we can't trust the interpretations of reality that we're receiving spiritually. We can't move to our own rhythm. And so this is the most important thing, beloveds, is I think sometimes we're trying to put, is it the cart before the horse? The most important thing is to get the horse all right, which means restore your self-confidence. Get the information that will make you confident in your identity, in your story, in our story. I don't want to say his story, in our story, that will prove to you that a lot of the things that have been fundamental building blocks of your mental reality are false, so that you can walk away and fully understand and understand that. Learn also to look at alternative news, beloveds, alternative narratives, alternative stories. Learn to dig deep. Don't just take what the algorithms are giving you, but go deeper into to see what's really happening. And it's funny because if you look for truthers, then the algorithms will suggest more truthers. Very interesting. But avoid mainstream media, because then the algorithms will just give you more mainstream media. Beloveds, it's so simple to get ourselves out, it's complicated. And the way to keep yourself safe right now, physically, I'm telling you, is by building up your self-confidence, building up your self-esteem, so that you can stand and you can say no, and your no can mean no, and your yes can mean yes. And if you already say no, you need to, people need to be, and I know a lot of people already did this. They made their decisions on various things, and they either said their no is no or their yes is yes, and they've stood by that. But you need to make that decision spiritually, so that your spiritual team can back you up and give you all the necessary information and knowledge to kind of make sure that your self-esteem remains up. Because it's a marathon, it's a mental marathon. And they've put so many obstacles. They've prepared for this, for the great explosion of our minds into limitless possibilities. They prepared for this by shrinking, trying to shrink us so much. Shrinking how we feel about ourselves, because that affects what we can create. You can have great ideas, but if you have low self-esteem and low self-confidence, then you're just going to produce, it half baked, or you won't produce it at all, because it's all about the emotion. Because it's the emotion that magnetically draws your dreams and your great visions to you. I hope this answers your question. Self-confidence is everything, beloved. Tuko pamoja.